Thinking about a trip to Disneyland, but not really sure where to stay? Keep watching for my opinion on the 3 Disney-owned resorts out in Anaheim. And don't forget to hit the bell below for more Disney planning tips.
I'm Christina. I'm a traveler, a planner, and most importantly, a mom. I'm sharing my best tips to make traveling as a family a little less stressful. So put down your phone, pack your bags, and let's showcase the world.
My name's Christina, and I'm the owner of Showcase the World Travel, a modern travel agency dedicated to helping families take a break from the busy. And I plan a lot of Walt Disney World, and I try so hard to get families to take a break from the busy, but Walt Disney World is busy. It's so busy, and it's ginormous. It's 40 square miles. So when you're really looking for a break from the busy, but you want a little bit of that Disney magic, I highly recommend Disneyland. There's a charm to Disneyland that just does not exist in the 40 square mile Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. Disneyland was the original park, and it was built in 1955, and it was like unlike anything that had ever existed before. And as a kid, we would go to Disneyland multiple times a year. So even though I'm on the East Coast, I consider Disneyland my home park because we used to go there every year, and that's where I grew up going because my aunt lived in the LA area. So I have stayed at all of the Disneyland resorts. I've also stayed at a few off-site resorts. That will be a separate video. Make sure you hit the bell to be notified when that video goes up. So how Disneyland is different than Walt Disney World is Walt Disney World's on a property that Disney owns, and they're able to kind of restrict what happens on that property. Whereas when they built Disneyland in Anaheim, it's very, very small footprint, and all sorts of hotels popped up around it. So I don't know if the story is true or if it's just legend, but there's a legend that Walt Disney, he saw some people leaving the park and asked them why they were leaving early, and they said they saw the traffic and they wanted to get ahead of it. And when that kind of story inspired him to do Walt Disney World, which is kind of a bubble in and of itself. Disneyland is not that bubble, so there's plenty more off-site options, and I actually love staying off-site at Disneyland more than I do at Walt Disney World. But there's a magic to the Disney resorts as well. There are 3 of them, so I'm going to talk about them in the order that they opened. Let's do it the order that they opened. So the first one that opened is the Disneyland Hotel. It wasn't originally owned by Disney. It was originally owned by another family, but Disney bought it, and it's the original hotel. So there's history there, and I love the history. They have Steakhouse 55, and it's my favorite hotel experience. The Grand Californian is the premier hotel, so if you're looking at them in relation to how Walt Disney World kind of ranks them, Paradise Pier would be the value, Disneyland Hotel would be the moderate, and the Grand Californian would be the deluxe. But the Disneyland Hotel is my favorite because it does have that history to it. It has that extra magic. They have magical headboards. So it's really my favorite. It also is very well priced. It's not going to be as expensive as the Grand Californian, but it's not as, so typically Paradise Pier will fill up because it is the more budget-friendly option. So Disneyland is a little bit more than that, but you're going to get more from it. And the last time my brother was there, they were upgraded to concierge level for a $50 upcharge for all 3 nights. So not $50 per night, but for all 3 nights. And because the hotel doesn't fill as much as the other 2, that's more likely to happen. The view over downtown Disney is so nice. You can sometimes see the fireworks from the room, and they're just great for families and for adults. No matter who you are, the Disneyland Hotel is going to be great for you, especially adults who love Trader Sam's. It's so nice to, when you're taking your break in the middle of the day, put the kids at the pool and, get a drink at Trader Sam's. So nice after a long day in the parks. It's directly across the street from Disneyland, so it's a 5-minute walk to get to the parks, so it's not far at all. The next one that is built, it was Grand Californian, and that is closer. It's also what they consider the deluxe resort, and so it is grand. It's grand. It's the Grand Californian. It is that you walk in and your jaw drops because it's that grand lobby that you would see at the Grand Floridian, at the Polynesian, at the Wilderness Lodge. Actually, it's the same architect as the Wilderness Lodge, but I don't feel like it is as rustic as the Wilderness Lodge. It's a little less rustic. The hotel has a direct entrance to downtown Disney and to California Adventure, and you can skip the lines to get in because the security lines are a lot less there. So being able to take children in via the stroller through to the park just for California Adventure. It's across the Esplanade from Disneyland, but it's great. The rooms are a little dark, and I just really can't justify spending the price of the Grand Californian for a 5-minute extra walk than the Disneyland Hotel. So those are the two kind of premier, super, super convenient. Like I'm talking, if you're thinking Disney World, this is more convenient. These resorts are closer than the Contemporary is to Magic Kingdom. It's kind of like how close the Beach Club is to Epcot. Let's say the Grand Californian is the Beach Club and the Disneyland Resort is the Boardwalk, but the Disneyland Resort has much better theming, much better amenities, in my opinion, for a much better price. The last one is Paradise Pier. It's on the other side of the parking lot from Disneyland Hotel. It's the most kid-friendly in terms of theming, but honestly, it's not worth the additional price of staying on Disney property if you're trying to go on a budget. So I would definitely say go with the Disneyland Hotel. If it doesn't fit in your budget, do an off-site non-Disney hotel. So the Good Neighbor program with Disneyland is much better than the Good Neighbor program at Walt Disney World because Disneyland again only has the 3 resorts and then a ton of Good Neighbors, whereas Disney World has over 30 Disney-owned resorts. So their Good Neighbor hotel policy is not as nice. The rooms are pretty standard. It's very budget friendly, and then they just kind of throw some bright colors and decor to make it Disney. It was previously a different hotel, and they converted it, so it doesn't really have that Disney touch. But the breakfast experience there is pretty great because they do have a Stitch and other characters. Usually Stitch is kind of the main one. Goofy and Stitch typically show up there a lot. They have a great character breakfast. They have great character breakfast at Grand Californian as well. The characters at Disneyland are a much higher caliber, but they also change out a lot. So it's not like you're going to Walt Disney World and you know you're always going to get Minnie, Mickey, Donald and Goofy at Chef Mickey's. They change out, and that's because Disneyland is a locals park, and so they try to keep things new and exciting for the locals who have annual passes. So those are the 3 hotels at Walt Disney World. Hopefully this helped you make your decision. If it didn't, I would love to chat with you about which one would be the best one for you, or help you pick an off-property resort. The charm of Disneyland, the pace of Disneyland is a nice breath of fresh air after you've done Walt Disney World. It's just a much lighter experience, and you can't go wrong with any of the 3 options, to be honest. With the close proximity to everything, the convenience is so unmatched if you're comparing it to Walt Disney World especially. And then there's so many cool new attractions out there. There's the Incredicoaster, Galaxy's Edge, and Avenger Campus. Unique to California Adventure is Cars Land, so you have all of these really cool, unique things in Disneyland that you're not going to get at Disney World, but you still get a lot of the classics that were originally from Disneyland that made it over to Disney World. So let me help you plan your perfect Disney escape. Don't forget to hit the bell to get more great Disney tips, and don't forget to take a break from the busy.
Need help planning your next family vacation? Visit us at showcasetheworld.com to request a quote or schedule a free vacation consultation. Want more great travel tips? You'll find those there too.